People always talk about how AI will not replace human beings. AI will replace human beings, but it will not replace the need for human beings to be in the loop in certain functions.
You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan England, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. I don't even know what to say. What an amazing interview on something that we are all talking about, something that it's impacting us. Whether you want to believe it will or it won't, it is impacting us. AI is here, is impacting us. I know that we hear a lot. It's not going to hurt the trades. It's not going to impact trades. I don't think it's going to hurt us, but oh my gosh, is it going to help us? I sat down with Fred Voccola today. He's the CEO of Simpro, field management software for commercial contractors all over the world. He comes from a space where he co-founded Kaseya, which helps with cybersecurity and managed services and computer stuff. And the guy knows his stuff. And he's just written a book called The Coming Disruption. And as I'm reading through this book and I'm talking to Fred, I just see the possibilities, but I also see the impact if we don't get on board. So I'm not going to say anymore. You got to hear from Fred. He's going to dump a bunch of nuggets. So if you've thought about how AI is impacting you, how it can impact you, share this with your people. They need to hear it too. I want to welcome today's show, Fred Voccola, the CEO of Simpro. Let's just get into it. Fred, welcome to the show.
Ryan, thanks for having me. Super excited to be here.
I am excited for a whole bunch of reasons, but number one is I've been reading this book. Almost done with it. And it's got my brain going and I'm thinking of new ideas and a little fearful too. And I want to get into that. But before we do, tell us a little bit about Fred.
So first off, thank you for being the one person who has bought and read my book in the world. Very happy to find out one buyers. No, but it was a lot of fun writing it. So a little about myself. I grew up in the great state of New Jersey. Very, very proud of my great state. I went to university and started my first company in university and have been in the software and tech space ever since. I moved down here to Miami. I went to university down here. And I came back down here around a little over 20 years ago. Make this my home. And I've been very, very blessed in life. And one of the greatest joys I have in life is disruptive technologies and disrupting industries and creating the jobs and changing people's lives that way. It's been a lot of fun. And this book I wrote, we all have interesting aspects of our lives and interesting people we work with. And I've been blessed to have been around just some of the most intelligent, forward-thinking people. And a couple of years ago, when I was running a company I co-founded called Kaseya, we started to see a lot of the early impact of having huge data volumes and trying to kind of crunch through that data to solve problems. And it was called large language models weren't a thing yet. This is really like the big data era. And once these large language models came out, it really hit about how the power of large language models would allow all of this data to truly be or release the value in it. And so after I left Kaseya, retired from Kaseya about a year and a half ago, and I promised my father I'd write a book. So what better topic to write a book on than AI, right? 15 months ago. And it was a lot of fun. It was scary as can be as I started doing the research and you look at things. But I'll tell you, I've learned so much from doing it. And there's one thing that I have very little doubt, Ryan, and that is that artificial intelligence is the most powerful technological innovation in the history of humanity. And that includes things like the written word, fire, the wheel, coinage, electricity. They don't hold a candle to the productivity increases that this provides humanity.
Yeah.
And over the next 12 to 15 months, we will see 500 years worth of human productivity packed into 18 months. And it's going to disrupt everything about humanity. It's been scary, but interesting experience.
I just got the chills when you said that, and I got the chills when I read that in your book, because every industrial revolution, not just the industrial revolution, but the invention of the wheel and fire and coinage and all of this stuff took hundreds of years. And I know it's getting faster, but this isn't just like a little bit faster. This is insane. Like we can't even, by the time we're done with this, AI will have evolved. In this 40-minute recording, AI will have evolved, and it'll be different than when we went into this.
Yeah, you're right on the mark. If you think about electricity, so I read something, I don't know if it was in the Wall Street Journal or New York Times, but I read something recently that said that we have just passed the 92nd percentage of electrification. What that means is 92% of the world's population are now electrified. And the electrification started 150, 200 years ago, maybe 125 years ago. So when we're still not fully electrified, it's because there's huge amounts of infrastructure and wires and power. I mean, there's so much that has to be done for that. If you think about AI, you or I right now, we talked about this earlier, but you or I right now can make ourselves 100% more productive within the next 3 days by leveraging AI in whatever we're doing. We don't have to build power plants. We don't have to build a new data center. Yes, there's a huge amount of infrastructure happening to support the future demand of what AI is. But today, you and I don't have to wait to leverage it.
Yeah.
You can do it right away. You know, if you think about coinage, I talk about this in the book a little bit. Imagine what the world was like if I wanted to buy chickens and you wanted to buy cows, and we had to go meet and we exchange chickens for cows. Well, if you show up with lumber instead of cows, I mean, we're up the creek a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a tough thing. So coinage comes and we both exchange our chicken and our cows for a certain number of metal coins. It took 250 years for the ancient world to accept fully coinage. And there's a lot of infrastructure. Yeah, you have to make the physical coins, but there was also the intellectual infrastructure that had to be overcome. You know, am I really taking these little gold things or silver things for all those chickens or all those cows? It was very different. This is unlike any other transformation we've ever seen. The power of it's pretty equal, but the speed is instant. And that instant speed is causing just incredible disruptions.
Yeah, and instant is getting faster and faster and faster. I told you that 4 months ago, we couldn't find a system to help us manage the projects inside of our company, being a specialty consulting and training contractor. And within 3 weeks, we built something that was purpose-built specifically for us. The team loves it. We are more efficient, faster. It took me 3 weeks, 4 months ago. I could probably do it in 3 days now with just what's happened.
It's insanity. And
it's crazy.
that wasn't even possible several years ago. I mean, I shouldn't say it wasn't possible. It would have taken you 6 months or 4 months or 7 months. And probably with the technologies that were available before these language models came about, probably couldn't have done it. I mean, you have to learn how to code. And that would have been a pain in the butt. So it is amazing what happens. And a lot of people, so recently in the news, we've seen the software industry just get crushed, right? Companies like ServiceNow and ServiceTitan and a number of other vertical software companies, Adobe and others, we've seen their market capitalization just get crunched. It's because the investment community is saying, well, hold on a minute. If AI is starting to disrupt, maybe the first place they're going to disrupt for Anthropic is these vertical software applications. Yeah. So how much power remains? And, we can make arguments of if that is an overselling or not of the market. But the point is, for a company like ServiceNow, or for our viewers or your viewers, ServiceTitan, two pretty well-known companies, to lose, ServiceNow lost approximately $100 billion of market capitalization in a couple of months because the investment community or the street is concerned that AI might duplicate, replace, or make them irrelevant. ServiceNow is a dominant platform in ITSM, like dominant. ServiceTitan is a very, very capable company, and they've lost half their value. So if that's just on speculation, imagine what's happening right now in law firms. Imagine what's happening in every industry everywhere around the world. I think we're going to see a situation where everything is disrupted, and disrupted in a positive way and in a challenging way, but it's coming. It's right here.
Well, and I mean, those are software examples. And, I hear a lot of people in the news and in just casual conversations, it's not coming for the trades. It's not going to impact us. We are a long ways off. And I think there might be a little bit of truth to that. But I think we don't have to worry about people not having jobs because we still need electricians to pull wire, and AI is not going to do that until we've got cyborgs and all that other stuff, a little bit science fiction stuff. But I read your book and I know what you're doing over at Simpro to help contractors. This isn't just a white collar thing anymore. This isn't just your accountants and your PMs and your estimators. I read some stuff in your book that talks about how this is going to impact the front line
Yeah.
that we're not even thinking about right now.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. So it's a great point. I mean, it's without a doubt, I think anyone who says that AI is not going to cause substantial, permanent white collar job loss is not representing reality. So before we get to the front lines, without a doubt, we're looking at a 25 to maybe 60% white collar job loss that will be permanent. And that's scary and a lot of implications now. We can talk about that later. But the front line, whether you're a factory worker or someone working in the trades, you're right. I don't think the Terminator is going to be created and be crawling and laying cable and doing things anymore. However, what we see at Simpro is an opportunity. So here's an interesting fact about the trades. The average trade company that we deal with, and we have about 24,000 customers around the world, I'd say 70% of which are commercial trades, meaning they're doing B2B work, and 30% are maybe a little less for the residential side. But what we're finding is the average profit margin of these companies is around 6%. And that's really low. And I'll tell you, one of the things that personally, that we at the company and I feel very strongly about is to these tradespeople, and they're the society's second responders. Something bad happens, God forbid, the police, the military, the healthcare workers, the fire, they go in right away. But right afterwards come the people who bring the lights back on, that get the water flowing again, that go and help dig out the debris, whatever it may be. Those are our customers. Yeah. They keep modern society modern. Yet as an aggregate, right? That sector, people that are incredibly valuable, they're making 6% profit margins. And that hurts not only the business owners, but hurts the employees as well, because there's no room to pay people. There's no room to do things, do fun things. And so when I started talking about the Simpro piece, I wanted to understand why. What causes that? And what we've learned is the typical trade business does about 22 different business processes. Now we can say there's 30 or there's 10. It depends on how you categorize them, but we break into 22. And most of those 22 are done manually and they're not interconnected. So what happens is there's so much room for leakage, and it's not one thing, it's 22 things. So at Simpro, what we're doing is we're taking our AI platform and we're taking all of the data and all of the information that's available, and we're plugging those holes, stopping the leakage, so we can allow the right worker to go to the right job at the right time with the right information, with the right materials, with the minimal amount of work, get the job done right the first time, and have that completed every time at scale. What that does is it allows like a 7 to 8% increase in the amount of output and about a 30% reduction in the cost that goes into the input. And by doing that, by changing the profit profile or the unit economics of this entire industry, everyone benefits. The owner of the 30-person company benefits because his or her business makes a lot more money. Now they can pay for their kids' college and they can, things like that. They also can invest more in their employees. They can invest in training their employees, because one of the things that we're doing is providing really powerful AI-first tools that the electrician, that the plumber, that the HVAC person, the fire safety person, that they're actually using to better diagnose, to eliminate the need to take notes, to automate the note-taking, everything. So now they're more effective. And now the trade owner can invest in their people, invest in their skills, pay them a little more, retain them, create a loyalty bond between the company and the employee where both sides benefit and win. I mean, one of the things that we see a lot in the trades business is it's tough to retain employees. That's because if I'm a licensed electrician, or if I'm a good plumber or a good HVAC person, I'm in demand. At the same time, if I'm a good HVAC engineer, I want to work for a company that's going to be around. I don't want to work for a company where I have to worry about them not making my last paycheck because they went out of business. And that happens a lot. So we see a lot of employee movement because, one, employees don't like doing work they don't want to do. Two, they don't like being burdened with boring stuff. And three, they don't want the risk of working for someone that might not be able to meet their last paycheck because they're not around. So our job is to solve those problems with our platform, make sure that our customers are the most profitable, make sure that our customers stay in business and excel in business so they can invest in, reward, and compensate their people better. And AI is the only reason we can do it. If it was not for AI, this company would not exist and I would not be here.
Well, and I want to add one thing to that, because on my side, we focus a lot on the communication and the team leadership. And I find so many contractors in the trades, they grew up in the trades. No one ever taught them to be a people leader. And people don't leave jobs, they leave people. And so when I look at that, I think one of the reasons we don't have that loyalty, or we do have a loyalty gap, is because if I don't have a strong people leader that I'm loyal to the paycheck. And if someone's willing to pay me more, I'm just going to go somewhere else. And so that's real, like the real passion part of mine. What I look at when I look at the trades, and what I love about what Simpro's doing is you're removing the complexities of running a contracting business to free up leadership so they can be better leaders. And that's the tie-in I see.
Yeah, Ryan, you bring up such a good point. People always talk about how AI will not replace human beings. AI will replace human beings, but it will not replace the need for human beings to be in the loop in certain functions. Leadership is the best. Leadership and communication is probably the most critical attribute of leadership. And I think you hit the nail right on the head. Ryan, one of the things that we're about to release at Simpro is something called Lightning. We're releasing in about a month. And not to give a Simpro commercial, but there's a bunch of features that are coming into the technology. They're all AI based. And a lot of them are around exactly what you're saying, communication. We're including things like automated job preparation, automated job completion, and ambient note-taking and descriptive and population subsets. We're also talking about automated bidirectional communication and broadcast capabilities. I mean, these are geofencing, all that stuff comes in it. But what it's all about is we want to make sure that as Ryan and Fred's HVAC company, powered by Simpro, that we have not only the highest profit margins, that's great, but the lowest turnover. And we don't want to be the lowest turnover only because we're paying the most money. We want to be the lowest turnover because the technician experience is great. And the experience isn't just in the tools they use. It's in being communicated to respectfully. It's making sure that me as an employee of the company, I feel like my voice is heard. We allow our application, our platform allows input from the field workers to say what kind of jobs they like and they don't like. Some people may like a job where they talk to a lot of human beings, some people may not. Everyone's
Most
different.
don't want to talk to the human beings.
Very few want to clean the messy toilet, right?
That's true too.
But whatever a good job and a bad job is for that particular person, in our optimization and scheduling and guidance algorithm, we try to factor in giving Ryan the kind of jobs that Ryan not only is good at, but he likes. And they're trained on. And if it's something that maybe they're not necessarily fully trained on, have them go on a mentoring job schedule. And what that looks like, so you can get the skill. And it is such a people business. And leadership for an owner of a company is not just in what they say, but it's in how they put to work the practices of giving, caring about their employees and their employee development. And we try to do it in our platform.
Well, and what I heard you just say is, as a leader, as an owner of a commercial contracting business, I can go to my people now and I can say, hey, don't be afraid of AI, because here's what AI does for you. It makes it so that I can be more present. It makes it so that I can make sure you get the jobs you enjoy. It makes it so that you get the training and the coaching and everything that you want. I mean, this modern workforce, they want to be trained. They want to be coached. I think some of them are fearful of AI. You talk about that in your book and what change management has to look like going forward. And I think some people just they're going to struggle with it. But I know so many technicians that when they get a new tool that helps them make decision or helps them diagnose faster or helps them get the job done quicker because they're making the right decisions, they enjoy the work more.
Yeah.
And if we can couple that with stronger leaders because they have more time to focus on leadership, I think one of the big things that you shared in the book that really shifted my thinking is I've always thought of AI as a productivity increaser or an expense decreaser. Like to me, it's always been, how can I do more? How can I spend less? And it's so much bigger than that. And the opportunities and like what you're talking about, freeing up leaders, making better decisions, keeping your employees happier. I mean, there's so much impact in this. It's insane. It's incredible to me.
Yeah, it's amazing how the fundamentals of business and forget business, the fundamentals of organizational, leadership and operations, how it's all based on human beings communicating with each other.
Mhm.
And when I think about AI in that mix, what AI really is, when this really hit me this is like 2.5 years ago, talking to some of the engineering guys in the early days of AI. This is right when the LLM started coming out at a company I had called Kaseya, is AI can do the work. So I'll never forget that AI can do the work. I'm like, okay. So what that means is AI is really an unlimited group of specialized knowledge workers. Whatever that specialization may be, if you're a biologist, AI can do biology better than, the person who won the Nobel Prize for biology, whoever that may be. AI can write software better than anyone on the planet. AI can write copy better than anyone on the planet. Now, will the output be better than the output of a human being? It depends on how well the creator works with that AI engine. But AI is better at it. So the communication capability, the communication skill set, which again is the most important aspect of leadership, is now the number one important skill of any worker in any job in any industry. And it will continue. So we talk about the trades. If I'm an HVAC person, if I'm in the field, if I'm an HVAC engineer or fire safety inspector, I need to be able to communicate with the AI in the tooling that I'm using to get the best outcome. That is such a dramatic change because AI can do the repetitive work that I don't want to do as a fire safety inspector better than I can do it. And I don't want to do it anyway, but I want to make sure I get the right outcome. So if I work with my AI and my AI then is trained to do the right outcome, I'm not telling it how to do it or what to do. I'm saying, this is the outcome I want. You're better than me at figuring that out. Go do it. I can do 10x what I used to be able to do.
Yeah.
And this is impacting every part of every organization in every industry in the world. It's fascinating stuff. One anecdote I can give you is, so a part of the software business is content marketing. So we all know what SEO is, right? Search engine optimization. And we all want to appear first in Google, and we want to be
Not
found.
anymore. I want to appear first in ChatGPT.
Exactly. Now we want to appear first in in the agentic searches.
Yes.
Well, the way that happens is, I'm going to give a simplistic example. My marketing colleagues will probably shoot me for being so simplistic, but it's really about having as much information out there. So the algos in a traditional search engine or in a large language model, remember, artificial intelligence is not intelligent. That's a myth. It's not intelligent. It's processing data at an incredible rate of speed. And it's allowing more associations to happen at an incredible speed. So then you can produce what appears like human intelligence, right? So the more content that is out there, the better your ranking or the better your discoverability will be in old school SEO and especially in new school agentic. So companies like Simpro and hundreds of others, or millions of others out there, are trying to figure out, how do I create as much content as I can? That's content marketing, ebooks and white papers and press releases and you name it.
Yeah.
So, you had maybe 15 people doing this before. Now we have like 3. And they're producing about 500 times the amount of content that was produced before we went AI first. Like, just think about that for a second. That's insane. I did not think it was going to happen this fast.
You know, it's
I wrote a book on it. I didn't think it was going to happen this fast.
You did. And I think there was a quote in here you said where you think about 300 million jobs are going to be impacted by this. And then you went on like the next paragraph and said, no, it's probably going to be a third of the world's workforce and more than a billion. And I don't think it's going to take as long as you even mentioned in the book what's going on. But I want to share something. I just had an aha moment listening to you talk through this. And this is something I learned a long time ago when I used to do IT management and help companies with this. We had this thing called garbage in, garbage out. And I mean, it clicked with me because if the operators are not trained in order to put the good stuff in, they're not going to often get the outcome that they're looking for because the LLM is just looking through what was the input. Yep. If you give me the wrong address, guess what? It's probably going to send you to the wrong address. And so that just clicked for me is that we have to be training our people on how to put the goods in so that we get the right stuff out because it's not really thinking. It's just iterating through, like you said. Yeah. And I had something the other day where I was chatting. I was like, can you help me with this email? And for the first time ever, ChatGPT told me, it's like, I need you to put a little more empathy into this email. And here's what I think you should do. And I was like, did it just get empathetic on me? Because that seems like real life stuff. Yeah. But all it was doing was just running through and saying, hey, I've seen enough iterations of this. When this happens, this is how you respond. But that idea of we've got to teach our people to put better stuff in if we want to get the good stuff out, because I know teams that are producing 500 times the content with less people, and it is absolute garbage.
Yeah, of course.
And it is so clear that some LLM has been using from different places and mixing ideas and hallucinating and putting stuff. And you're like, I don't even understand how you got here. It makes up numbers and stats and all this stuff. But that's because that team of 3 wasn't trained to put the good stuff in.
Yeah.
That was big aha for me, Fred. That was awesome. Thank you for that.
No, you're right on the mark. So we talk about a concept of AI first in the book.
Yeah.
AI first doesn't mean AI stupid or AI blind. You know, it's like anything else. If you and I are creating content in this example, which is a great example, it could produce garbage. You got to make sure that there's a human somewhere in the loop. And I think that will never, ever change. I mean, when I say ever, you know, beyond 5 years, it's hard to predict anything. Beyond 3 years, that's right.
2030, the world ends at this point.
But it's such a good point you bring up, Ryan, man. Like so many people, when they embrace AI, they tend to get lazy. And that's a lazy worker, whether the worker's doing the work or the worker is prompting to get the work done, or the work is using a system that was developed to prompt the work to get done, right? Factory worker, trade worker, knowledge worker, executive, doesn't matter. Laziness prevents success. So if I'm doing an HVAC audit and I only do 7 of my 10 checks because I want to get out of there early, it's not going to be a good job. If I'm creating content and I'm having AI create 15 ebooks for me, if I don't look it over to make sure it's not hallucinating or doing anything crazy, same on me. It's just the type of work changes a bit, but it's a really good point you bring up. And, when we talk about the amount of jobs that'll be impacted, first of all, I think all is a strong word. Let's say all equals 90%.
Yeah.
Right? All jobs will be impacted. Doesn't mean they'll be gone, but I do see a world where we have 1/8 as many software engineers and we're producing 100 times as much software. Now, you're talking to a guy who started his first software company in college. I've been in software even though I may only be 25 years old, I'm like Benjamin Button. I'm aging backwards, been in business for a long time.
Yeah.
And, I don't say it. If you asked me 3 years ago, Fred, what should a 20-year-old or a 16-year-old kid be studying? Like computer engineering, computer science. I still think people need that background, but now I'm like, learn the humanities, learn how to communicate. Get a technical understanding. Don't get a master's degree in computer engineering. Yeah. Take some developing, understand how to code, understand database logic, understand how it works, but study the humanities so you can communicate better. It's a totally different world. 3 years ago, I'd say if you're gonna get a philosophy degree, hopefully you're on scholarship and you're not going in debt for it. That's crazy, but it's impacting everything. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, you've mentioned this a couple of times, AI first. I mean, that's a big part of your book, and it shifted my thinking. I've always been very much supplemental AI. Like you talk about that. That has been my world. How do I increase efficiencies? How do I get a little bit faster? How do I supplement? And the shift to AI first, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is the way I understood it. Yeah. There is a key component to creating an AI first organization, and you call it the entrepreneurial leader.
Yeah.
And when I hear that, what I hear is we need to find people who want to go start their own business. But I don't think that's what you're talking about.
No. Yeah.
So break it down for me. Talk to me about the entrepreneurial leader and why is it so important for those people thinking, okay, AI is going to impact me. How do I figure this out?
Yeah. Great question. Great point. So an entrepreneurial leader, like you said, it does not mean that they've necessarily, he or she started their own business before. It means they possess the traits of an entrepreneur. And what are the traits of an entrepreneur? Entrepreneurs are typically tolerant of risk. They're typically good communicators. They typically don't get stuck looking at a problem one way. They pivot very often.
They like
They're
shiny objects.
Yeah. Yeah, right. The squirrel.
Yeah.
They're very comfortable making decisions with incomplete information.
Yes.
And they are the opposite of I hate to use the word stuffy, but of a large organization, people and organizational managing paper shuffler. Entrepreneurs tend to have their own ideas. They tend to be in the weeds. They are able to dissect, to motivate, that's the entrepreneurial capability. And I think leaders in the AI era, first off, I'll tell you a story. It's a great story. I can't believe I'm going to say this. My first job I ever had was my summer after my freshman year of college, I interned at Lockheed, the defense contractor. Right? So this is before they were Lockheed Martin. I might tell you all of them. And this is the company, remember, I was an 18-year-old kid, right? This is the company that made the space shuttle, stealth bombers, Patriot missile batteries. I'm like, oh my God, this is so neat. And so I was working for one of their divisions, a transportation division. They also invented Easy Pass. How cool is that, right? The electronic toll collection stuff. So I was interning in that division in New Jersey in the finance department. And I was the finance department's computer operator. So think about this. I operated the finance department's spreadsheet.
Yeah.
The one spreadsheet for the finance department was operated by me. When you walk the halls in Teaneck, New Jersey, which is where that Lockheed office was, there were no computers on the desks of anyone except for a graphic designer, they call them graphic artists, and accountants and me, the intern of the finance department. Wow. So to be an executive at Lockheed at that time, you did not have to know how to use a computer. You didn't have one.
Yeah.
I think 6 years later, today, 2026. So Dan Telep was the CEO of Lockheed then. I remember the guy's name. Never met him, but just remember his name. I don't know who the CEO of Lockheed is today, but I guarantee you that he or she can use every application on that computer. You cannot be an executive in any company you can't be the president of the United States if you can't use a phone, a smartphone, or a computer. You just can't. So that change happened so quickly. And I think what we're seeing with AI is executives who, if they don't have entrepreneurial skills, they cannot lead. You just can't do it. If you can't get your hands dirty, if you can't pivot, if you can't do things, you cannot be a successful leader in organizations of 5 people or 500,000 people anymore. I think it's done. And that skill set allows you to recognize that things that you once thought were not possible, they can be done. I had a conversation with my head of product and R&D the other day. And I said, you have 3 weeks to get this application built. And he's like, okay, it's going to be a stretch. Maybe we want 4. That was an impossible conversation 3 years ago. I mean, impossible.
I was going to say, they would say 3 years, 4 years. Now you're 3-4 weeks.
It's crazy. And if someone doesn't have the capability to understand that, like I'm a CEO, my company's small, I got maybe 1,000 employees. We're not 1,500, it's not a huge company. But most people who run organizations, they come from the management philosophy of gradualism. They're taught, layer the organization. It's all about hierarchies. That's all done.
I was going to ask you about the change management thing next. Because that blew my mind too. To me, it was almost like that entrepreneurial leader is the linchpin if you want to go AI first, because if you don't have that visionary, risk taker, incomplete information, they're going to sit around and go, I don't know what to do.
And they're going to be stuck. Yeah, they
Yeah.
can't see it. They can't envision. They can't say, wait a minute, the world is totally different. I have a new thing here. It's not a tool. It's not a spreadsheet. It's not electricity. It is an unlimited army of specialized workers that can do everything better than what I have today. How do I deploy that? And if you don't have the vision to do that, you simply will not be successful.
So how do you find an entrepreneurial leader?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you don't have the silver bullet, like do this every time it works. But I mean, give us an
No.
idea of where we can find this person or
Well,
people.
I can, if I had the answer to that, I would be, me and Elon Musk would be hanging out on Mars and some multi-trillion dollar
It was
yacht,
worth a
right?
shot, Fred. I had
Yeah.
to ask.
No, but I can tell you where not to find them.
Okay.
You don't find them at, the classic Booz Allen, McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group. The playbooks of the past don't work today. I've seen the last 4 major disruptions. I've started companies in all 4 of the IT and cybersecurity and software disruptive eras, and we've been very successful in all of them. And nothing is like this, and we're not going to find it from the playbooks that worked in the past. Where you find entrepreneurial leaders are typically people who have not been able to survive the political infighting that exists within the deep state of large companies. And I don't mean like the political deep state, like that's
No, I get what you're saying, because when I read that part about the deep state, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't survive in that. Like that's why I started my own company. I'm like, I cannot do this.
Yeah. And people who tend to be multifunctional. What I mean by that is, for so long, we were told, develop an expertise in a specialization. The more specialized you are, the harder you are to replace.
Yep.
The opposite just happened. So if you have a PhD in computer science, it's a waste. So where to find entrepreneurial people? You find them for where the people who have not been able to successfully, quote unquote, move up or drive. I'm not saying you want to hire unsuccessful people, but there tends to be a correlation between the classic hierarchical organization, people who have failed to achieve there, where the biggest achievement is longevity. People who have failed to achieve there fail to follow the rules because they disrupted the boat.
Yeah.
Those are the people that everyone should look for to their organization, I think.
And you can find them in your organization too.
Absolutely.
And I truly believe that. I saw that. But yeah, when I got to the part where you started talking about consultants and how you think about consultants, and I was like, oh, wow, it's a good thing we're focused on outcomes over here, because most aren't. Yeah. I've seen some products of some of the big 3 consulting firms, and it's multiple binders this thick with thousands of pages of PowerPoints and charts and value creation, right? Like they call it. And that doesn't work, especially in this space. And I mean, my personal passion, I want to help make the trades cool again. I think we got a marketing problem in the trades. I think that's why a lot of the next generation doesn't like it. I think the idea of being AI first as a contractor can open up these kids who grew up with a controller and a phone in their hand going, wait a minute, I can go be in the trades and I still get to use tech and I still get to do these things. I think there's opportunity here, but we have to embrace it. And this industry, I hate to say this, but we are slow to adopt new technologies. We are slow to change. And one of the things you talked about is the idea that change management, it's a very corporate enterprise term, but we've probably all heard it. This idea of getting people to slowly change and acclimate, it's extinct, it's obsolete, it's dead, according to you. And now we've moved into extreme change management. So if I'm thinking here, how do I become an AI first organization? I have to adopt this philosophy of extreme change management because I don't have time. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. So talking about it generally, then specifically for trades, when you think about change management, the rule for most organizations is nothing is happening so fast that we need to risk breaking things in order to adopt it. Because no one else is going to adopt it faster than we will. And it's not powerful enough, whatever it may be. The thing that we are changing towards, if we don't get there immediately and our competitors do, it will not give our competitors such an advantage that they will eliminate us. Yeah. If I'm going to adopt a CRM system and your business doesn't, and you adopt it 9 months before I do, you're not going to put me out of business.
Mm.
You'll have a little advantage. It'll be good, but I'll eventually get there. And for me to risk disrupting my entire organization and making everybody hate me and not want to be here just so I can be 9 months earlier on a CRM implementation, not worth it.
Yeah.
So I will take my time, and maybe I'll lose a little bit of advantage, but I'll get it back. With AI, if you and I are in the competitive industries and you adopt AI in an AI first fashion, and I do not, I promise you, if you have a 9-month head start, I will not catch up to you. I can't. I just simply can't.
Well, and for the last year, you've made a 6% net while I'm on my way to 20.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you're going to 20, what you can do, and again, in a normalized world, you can go to all of my customers and say, I'm going to charge you 25% less.
Yeah.
And you'll still make more money. How do I compete with that? So you just can't do it. And also, you might say, you know what? You're going to steal all of my employees. We're 2 trade companies, right? We're 2 fire safety folks. You're going to get my 30 employees. Why? You're going to pay them 20% more.
Yeah.
I can't compete. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So the idea, and that applies not just trades, everything. So if people don't rapidly embrace it, then you won't compete. So the idea of building consensus, gradualism, this new leader, this entrepreneur leader has to make it a reality now. And that means extreme change management. And there will be some casualties, but those casualties they allow you to survive and to thrive. And there's right ways of doing it, especially for the trades. You have to make sure that you don't do it in an exclusive way to the field engineers, the field technicians. They got to be included, but at the same time, it must be done. And it's an interesting world.
And it's shifting my thoughts. And, I'm looking at this. There is so much need for better leadership, better teams, better communication, all of the people sides of the business, which has been my passion. But now I'm starting to look at this and saying, how do we make it so it goes faster? How do we implement these AI systems to give these people that freedom, that time freedom to say, hey, you know what? I don't have to sit here and look at spreadsheets and reconcile AP every single day and do all this other stuff. Because so many of these contractors, they wear multiple hats. Like you said, that's the thing of the entrepreneur. We're really good at jumping in different areas and we're able to figure out multiple things. And sometimes we don't want to let those things go. But I think what AI is going to force us to do is we got to focus on getting really good at the things we need to be really good at. Yeah. And it's going to do it so fast that if we don't change, forget our people that are going to be eliminated, we'll be eliminated as the entrepreneurs. And that's big for me.
Yeah, I'll give you a really good, tangible, tactical example. Okay. Relates to Simpro. So we have a product. It's an AR automation product. Really what it does is, again, we have 20-something thousand customers. We have a lot of data. And we have a lot of data about how customers of our customers pay them, right? So, and we break it down by a gazillion attributes: residential, commercial. If it's commercial, they're big, they're small, what part of the world they in, what's the work? I mean, you name it, right? What kind of work is it? So getting paid on time for especially commercial contractors.
Oh my gosh, I hear it all the time.
It can be a pain, and it can be challenging, right?
Yes.
So we need to solve that. Because the faster our customers get paid, then it's one less thing to worry about. And if you're running your business and you're only making 6% margin, if you're paid a month late, do the math.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. You might have to make a decision. Am I going to make payroll this month? Or am I going to pay the minimum on my personal credit cards for my family? So we solved that. So we took... This is so cool. I love this stuff, man. As the nerd in me.
Yes, I see it. I know you geek out. You love this stuff. I love it too. I'm excited for what you're talking about for this industry.
Yeah, we took this AI. We built this nice, when I say simple, it's I don't know how simple it is, but we took the data, we built an AI platform, we trained it. So now in our platform, we give a receivable methodology of when they're pricing a bid, what's the propensity of that particular customer to pay, not based on their credit history. Yeah, we grab all that stuff.
Yeah.
But based on all these attributes. And then what's the best way to get collections? Should you eat the 2 or 3% of the credit card and put them on a credit card for the recurring service? Should you not? Like all these different things. And then if they don't pay, what's the right dunning process? for them? How does it work? Then we do it for you, right? We'll automate, we'll write the letters for you. So it's all automated. So that business owner or that trade is spending 1/5 the time, but it's as if they hired 2 full-time experts in receivables management.
Yeah.
And the DSO of our customers has improved like 13%. It's just, I mean, so many ways that we can help people. It's so freaking cool.
And I love it too, because, people might hear 13% and they're like, oh, that's not that big a deal. But you did 13% there, and you did 6% there, and you did 12% there. And by the time you add all up, it's like 400% better company, because you went from 6% to 22% margins.
Yeah.
Fred, what your vision for Simpro, your vision for how you help contractors, I mean, it's so refreshing to hear this. And I love that you have a team in place to make this stuff happen. Do me a favor, tell people how they can get a copy of your book. Be prepared when you read it. There's some stuff in here that's going to challenge your thinking. Tell people how to get a hold of your book, and how do they learn more about what you're up to at Simpro.
Yeah. So Ryan, appreciate it. Book. It's on Amazon or wherever you buy books. It's also at thecomingdisruption.com. And to be very clear, not one penny from this book or anything else that I or we do from this point moving forward, all goes into my foundation, which helps the Fred Voccola Family Foundation, named after my dog. It helps veterans, children, and animal causes. It's all about that. But it's on Amazon or at the website. And Simpro, you can check us out at simprogroup.com. And this has been a great interview. Thank you so much, Ryan, for having me on. This has been fantastic.
Thank you,
Really
Fred.
love it.
I've been looking forward to it, because I knew you were going to just open up the stuff that was in the book and what you're thinking about, what I've been thinking about. And thank you so much for all you're doing for the industry. This was amazing. I look forward to talking to you again about, in 3 months, we can talk about this and it'll feel like we haven't talked in 3 years, right?
I'd love to do it. I mean, this is happening just so dang fast.
Yeah.
And it's an exciting time to be alive. That's for sure. It's a great time to be an entrepreneur.
Thank you, Fred.
Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan England here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend, or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.